Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. It's about boosting knowledge retention and engagement with the help of AI-powered microlearning. My name is Pascal Rosenberger. I'm one of the co-founders of Eggheads, a conversational microlearning platform. My personal background is in digital communications and marketing, and I've been building chatbots for the last 6 years for different use cases, be it in e-commerce, in customer care, or now, of course, with the focus on internal communications and learning. With and without AI, we've always had an eye on the possibilities the technologies offered, but until ChatGPT appeared, it didn't seem easy and economical to build with AI for this use case, which has changed. It seems like all these little friends have appeared out of nowhere. The speed with which they've shown up and changed everything is incredible. It seems to impact everything and sometimes quite a bit overwhelming because everything is going so fast. When we look at this comparison, different types of speed, cheetah airplanes and all the people that are becoming experts, the ones that that have become experts in the field of AI, and the ones like who's speeding up with building their skills and trying to figure out how to use that technology eventually. This gentleman here, there's a very engaging video I'd recommend on the web with his headline, which I'm not going to quote here, basically captured the whole emotion right now, this feeling of overwhelming, of the speed, how everything's changing. So here they are, these little chatbots. There's so much noise around them. There's so much fog around them. So it's really a bit unclear. What are they really? What are they good for? What are the limitations? What are potential risks of using that technology? So one of the goals today is to demystify these little helpers and to really focus on what they can be used for in the context of employee training. We're zooming in on a particular set of problems in the field of employee engagement, employee training, internal communications, because already now we're in June, there are around 2,000 tools available on the market that include AI and to some extent allow you to solve a certain problem. It's practically impossible to keep up with the speed of the development and the sheer amount of tools that are available. So we suggest to start with the problem, look what you're trying to solve, and then from there find the appropriate solution. Otherwise, it might be risky to lose the oversight of what you're actually trying to solve, because there's just so much possible, there's just so much around. When we look at employee training, there are the very common limitations when it comes to time, engagement, and relevance. It's very common to hear, I have no time. There is this number circulating that says, okay, employees have around 1% of their workday available for formal training. Maybe it's 1.5%, maybe it's 0.8%. That doesn't matter that precisely. It's just a common experience, something we as professionals can all relate to. Time is very rare now for workdays. Factor of engagement, content, especially one that's compulsory or one that's not really pulled and demanded by employees, can be perceived as boring. Presenting content in an engaging way is one of the goals and challenges. And last factor, the relevance. Someone might say, okay, this content might work for HR, but I work in marketing. This content might work for beginners, but I'm a professional. Or why do I need to learn this now when I won't use it for the next couple of months and potentially someday in the faraway future? From the user perspective, these are the three most common challenges. Now, from a business perspective, we could summarize the major challenges as follows. With training and internal comms and learning, we're in the field of change. We're trying to change how people do certain things, how they look, at certain things, their perspectives, their awareness. We're trying to make that impact. And the critical question can follow from board, the C-level right afterwards. Has anything changed? Is the impact as big as we wanted and hoped it to be? Factor time, but here from another perspective, it just takes too long to produce these training measures. From the time we identify a need until we reach our employees, this can take months. The other resource factor, costs. Always the question, can we make it more effective? Can we make it more efficient? Can we make it cheaper? Can we produce more with the same resources? With these challenges in mind, we have developed our solution Eggheads, which allows you to approach and overcome these challenges with a conversational microlearning approach. Point one, you can establish a spaced repetition. You just don't teach people once, you repeat over time and contribute that knowledge sticks and that the awareness that you want to create is established. That allows you to create a mode of continuous learning as well. This is a format of microlearning. It's short, to the point, and this makes effective use of time, which is short in our employees' business and workday. The conversational approach allows us to design the content in a different way. It's interactive, it's playful, it's engaging, like the chats we know on WhatsApp, like the chats we have with coworkers in Microsoft Teams. Elements like emojis or GIFs are just natural to that environment. Another point, you can branch and adapt the whole training experience to what people respond with branches or with jumps, as we call them, so that people get more of what they actually need. Last but not least, we have customers where the topic matter experts create the trainings or the microlearning nuggets for their peers. So it's really simple and fast to produce and deliver this type of training. We looked at this solution. How can we enhance it using AI? We've identified these three areas. And we're going to look at these three capabilities, what you can do with them. So the first point, with the help of AI, we can create a first draft of training content, in our case, a chat-based learning nugget, by providing source material so that you can refabricate the content that you already have and deliver it to users. With the help of AI, we create the first draft. We wouldn't say it's the final result because you as the editors have the last word. You can control, you actually should control and check if everything is correct. And you can enhance it with media. You can add images, you can add emojis, you can add GIFs, for example. And that's a way to combine the intelligence of AI and the editorial control of the rule-based and scripted chatbots. There you have the two benefits, and this allows you to speed up the content creation process. You don't have to start from the blank page. You already have 3/4 or 80% of the results produced. What can you do with that? I'm not going to read out loud all of these examples, just some ideas. For example, in sales training, we can refresh product knowledge because we know sales are very motivated at the beginning, and after time, they might lose a bit of their motivation. So we want to refresh the product knowledge with these short interventions. In the related fields, with the other part of the organization that deals directly with the customers, customer service, for example, there are a lot of SOP processes that we want them to stick to. They might get an update. So let's communicate and make sure this update sticks. In the field of compliance, we could say we have a dry topic and we want to make it a bit more engaging. We want to even make it fun, which works quite well. In the field of IT security, which has some similarities with compliance, you can, for example, explain what the secure behavior is, how you can set a secure password, and elements like that. New hire onboarding is also another use case where you can set the tone, how you want to present your organization, how do you get across the strategy your business has, the values you want to stick to, and you can present that in this chat-based way. Diversity, equality, and inclusion, also a hot topic at the workplace these days, where this approach can help you to address these diversity-related challenges and questions. That's the first capability. The second one is about personalized feedback. You might be familiar with the language learning app Duolingo, and it's quite similar to what you experience there as a language learner. In Duolingo, there is a scenario where you as a user are in a cafe in Paris, and the waiter comes to you, and the waiter says, "Welcome to our cafe, how can I help you?" And then it's up to you. You have to speak, either really speak it into the microphone or type. And then you get a personalized feedback, what worked well, what you've done wrong, and how you could improve. That's the same logic that we're now transferring into the business context. The guy you see here, and that's an image that was also generated, in this case with Midjourney, on the prompt angry customer. This angry customer would show up and say something like that: "The product you sold yesterday broke right away." Now, the question to our customer care agents would be, how do you respond to that? Then, in that case, they would really have to type. This is what you can do with it. Again, in the same areas we had a look at before. In sales, one of the classics, objection handling. We have our product, it has really convincing arguments, USPs, but the customer just doesn't buy it. Sales rep, how do you respond to the objection? That's one of the potential use cases or possible use cases in the field of sales. In customer care, how do you deal with angry customers? Similar to what we had a look at before. In compliance, you could also set up certain scenarios and figure out how people would behave in them, if they were able to identify potential risks or how they would behave if they spotted something. In DEI, quite similar. For example, could address biases, how you can identify them, if you spot them, how you can address them when you really identify one. Leadership training, quite a common scenario. Employee comes to the boss, "I work too much, don't get enough salary, don't get enough vacation." And now you as a leader in the leadership training are challenged to respond to that. The clue here is that's not built on what was written in the internet. That's not what already is available in the large language model itself. This really builds on your knowledge or your communication guidelines or whatever you define is the right behavior or the right response that you want to train with your employees. That's the second capability. The third one is about gaining further insights. Let's imagine we've done a sales training with 100 sales rep, and they responded in their own words how they would encounter a customer objection. We've generated a large volume of feedback, unstructured feedback, but we want to get smart out of that. How can we derive insights from this unstructured data? That's also something where AI can help us. The dashboard you see here was also generated with AI. It looks quite convincing at first sight. When you have a bit closer look, there are some things that appear a bit weird, like these lines in the middle of the chart. What can you do with automated data analysis in the field of employee engagement, comms, and training? For example, before you even start delivering a training measure, you can identify, is there actually a need? And if yes, what is it? What does it look like? You can poll and serving your audience. You can use that feature as well for the knowledge checks and scenarios and role plays that you've run before, so to figure out which part of the knowledge already sticks and which part would need additional training. You can use it for general surveys or pulse surveys when you're more in the field of employee well-being, or when you're more interested in how employees perceive the workplace, as well to evaluate the training measures that you've done. Was it valuable for the users? Is there feedback that would help improve all these training measures? These are potential use cases you can do with this capability, also with the help of AI. And summarized, this is a way of listening to users. We speak of conversational microlearning, and of course, yes, chat-based format, that's also conversational, but conversational also means, from our understanding, not just pushing knowledge to users, also listening to them and getting their feedback and understand potential needs. Now, the last capability, that's something that we haven't built in our platform, but something that's quite common or has become relatively easy to do with these generative AI solutions. We allow our people to ask questions and get the right answer immediately. For example, why do I need a training about compliance and learn the threshold for customer gift when I can just ask a chatbot in the moment that I need that information? So this type of learning or performance support, Q&A, that's more of the classical way of chatbots, but just for the internal usage. These are 4 capabilities that allow you to address the major challenges in workplace training. And with them, you can cover most of the whole process that's involved in the creation and delivery of training. With the first draft generation, you address the training content step, of course. With the second one, the learning experience, where you can provide personalized feedback, you address the delivery step. With the evaluation, the data insights, you address the first step of identifying the training needs, as well as the assessment and review steps. And the fourth one would allow you to address the ongoing support and provide access to resources in the ongoing work life. To sum it up, with the help of AI, you can deliver a more personalized way to learn at work, a more engaging way, and become more efficient as well in producing these trainings. You get bite-sized content faster, can deliver personalized feedback on scale as if every employee had his or her own trainer, and you can measure and improve everything you do through the data-based insights. If you're interested in testing these features, I'd encourage you to sign up to our mailing list. Currently, our first customers are using these capabilities already. When you sign up, you get a free account where you can create chat-based learning nuggets without AI for the moment, but you will be among the first who will learn about the rollout and the general availability of these AI capabilities on our platform. This was the presentation. Thank you for your interest, and I'm now happy to answer your questions. At this point, I will stop the recording.